So it's Sunday morning's update, and I've got something behind me that we haven't seen in this field for a number of years. It's called a plough, and this is the field that's one of the fields for the cereals event. So whether I've got time in this update to go through it or not, because I've got to edit this tonight, and this is the thing, when I do my intros like this, I never know whether I've got time to include everything or whether this will have to be a next update. But one or two people have asked about the cereals event. We are now starting to get ready for the event, which is next year, June the 11th and 12th, and this field is where all the crop plots are coming, and the cereals organising team wanted it ploughing because they established the plots with really small specialist drills, and the equipment, it doesn't withstand lumps and things or much trash, so they wanted it ploughing. So the last time this field was ploughed was 2008, when we last had the cereals event up here. So we'll have a look at this in a bit of detail if I've time, but the rest of this update we're looking at baling. We've got baled up to date, which is great, and Saturday morning it is raining, which is good, but we want some proper rain. But the rest of this update, we've got baling up to date, thank goodness, because of this weather. And also we are looking at putting cover crops in. We're putting some cover crops in as part of the SFI scheme. That's a Sustainable Farming Incentive, and that's in a field just to the side of those trees. So I'll have a look at that as well, and just general one or two bits around the farm. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoy this update, and we'll see you at the end. You can see a bit of water down in the yard. It is now, what are we now, Wednesday morning. And you can just see we've got two tractors in the workshop, so we're just doing a bit of repairs. We haven't got any crops ready to harvest for a week or so. You heard earlier on in this clip, I think the other day I was mentioning it. So we're just getting a few repairs done to the mole drainer. Also the coon mower needs some jobs doing, the bearings done and the roller. And I've just been to Spalding's and I've got 2 more feet for the mole drainer. We've got the mole drainer in here. The Pro Forge one we got from AgriLink, good machine, and we're just doing a few repairs to wearing parts. The skid that is underneath here that touches the soil is actually wearing really thin just here, so Tom's welded some more chopper blades underneath where it takes the strain. So we're taking it off, taking this one off and bolted it. That's what it's like. Just put those new feet on the bottom of the mole drainer. Looks better. Should be a lot better now, penetrating, going into the soil. It's about 6:15 in the morning, and I've just come in the workshop just to get this tractor going. We had a bit of a day of repairs, as you saw the other day, and the roller on this collapsed, so I went to Grantham and got a new shaft for it, and then we've welded it in the roller and put some new bearings and bearing housings on, because the old ones have totally collapsed. I'm not sure if you can see if I flick the camera around. So there we go, you can see put a new housing on there and a new bearing, and it goes around a lot better now. This is the trouble with something like that, these cutters. You've seen everybody jumps on it, but just sort of goes out, and we don't think about maintenance of it, so it does tend to lapse a bit. See, the blades have been sharpened as well. Anyway, I'll go out and get the A17 done. I want to try and get the A17 done outside the farm gate before the traffic builds up. Looks like I'm too late. I need to be earlier. We must get that bush cut back there. Or it means coming out on a Sunday morning very early. That's probably the best time, but if I've been out the night before, I'm very late editing the videos for Sunday, which sometimes I am in the early hours of Sunday morning. I don't feel like getting up at 5 AM. So the balers have just arrived. It's Thursday lunchtime. Nice bit of dust on the lane, but you can see here, look, it's just starting to rain. You can just see it's cloudy in the distance there. Typical, we've just got 100 acres to bale. It's really cold actually today. So we've got the other baler arrived now, and the chaser as well, but just having to wait for the rain to pass. You can see it's bright blue sky now and sunshine, so it's definitely drying. No point in them going away. Straw's all there, we've only had probably a millimetre, so we think it will go. Just having a refill. There we go, that's that one full. Just filling them all up while we're stood. I didn't realise that baler's got a steering rear axle. So all blown down from the other farm, apart from that, the bales that's in the chamber.
Have you got someone back? Have you got someone in today?
So even if this baler's a different colour, that's all it is. You can just see by the tin work there, it's exactly the same baler, just with a different skin on it. Because Fent and Massey are all owned by Agco. This one's just filling up with fuel now. So it's just heading off now to pick a row down the middle of the field. But we've got a straw woofler turner coming to move the ends of the straw where they've turned on them with combining, because that rain's just damped them a bit too much. So Henry, whose baling gang it is just bringing a machine from another area to come and just loosen these headlands. We're just going to try some breeds up the middle of the field. We're just having a look at the bales that's been done to see what they're like for moisture. Obviously a lot of that was done at the other farm before it got here. This is just probing this. It bleeps, it's over 15, but it's not. What is it?
12.2.
12.2. It goes mouldy if it's too high moisture. So Henry, just roughly what speed is he doing?
Maybe about 7 kilometres an hour there. We've got an issue there, the first bale.
The bale. You can see by the strings there, the bale's not tight. Nala, come here. You can see, Nala, come here. You can see that's where it collects the straw. See here, the strings aren't tight. It's let the bale, see, it's not what it should be, not as tight as it should be. I've got Ross here, one of the drivers, but you've also got your own baler.
Yeah, the Fent baler's my own.
That's it. And the price of these balers then, they're astronomical.
Yeah, fair bit. 130, 150,000.
50,000. We've got that one at the minute. So that Massey behind us there, is it virtually the same underneath as the Fent?
Yeah, so they're both Heston built. All that's different is the casing of it, basically.
Yeah. And how many bales or acres would you do in a season, in the summer?
Varies a lot due to the year.
We're having a bad year this year, aren't we?
Yeah,
straw.
There's some places where very hit and miss with yield, but you look at trying to get 8,000 to 10,000 on the baler a year, sort of thing.
And that's what makes it viable to buy it. Yeah. And how many years would you keep a baler?
Again, depending on them sort of years, you only, I'd say 4 or 5 years. Good years on it, you'd look at then swapping them out, or depending when you bought it. And
then the chaser that you're on.
Yeah.
That how much is one of those?
I do one of them's 120,000.
Yeah. And when you look at it compared to, obviously Heath's another one, isn't it? You can get Heath chasers.
Heath.
They vary a lot. Obviously the Heath's got just brings it up by spikes.
Yeah. So Heath's good. They're a fast chaser and could take a bit more abuse for let's say what they are.
But then you have to turn the bales round with the fronted tractor.
Yeah, you have to nudge them round. Where, like I said, the Arcsons and the Transackers is good for control traffic systems and whatnot. Some say they're a little bit slower.
Yeah. and on bales per acre, I think we were about 3.4 bales per acre. I think you've done up at the Heath.
Yeah.
And where are you at the minute this year on average? Not so much straw as normal.
It varies. On the wolds, it's looking quite good. There's been quite a lot of straw on the wolds.
Yeah.
Some of the flatland and stuff, it's been a bit hit and miss.
Yeah.
The yield hasn't been there, the averages, but on the wolds, to be fair, the wolds
they've been good.
Yeah, good yields.
Yeah. Great, thanks Ross.
Cheers.
Where would we be without mobiles today? Trying to sort this job out. Henry's just trying to set up the next job, and Tess is just cutting this because it's not tight enough. It needs to be rebaled, this one does. It's just not tight enough, especially if you get that in the middle of a stack, it'll let a stack go. So you need to be tight. We'll just have a look across here. And the other thing is, we always cut the stubble fairly short, as you've seen me mention. Really short. Now that has a benefit, it gets us more straw, so more bales, but the disadvantage is it doesn't get the wind underneath, because if you have longer stubble, the straw will sit on top of the stubble and therefore lets a bit of air underneath to dry, whereas here it sort of sat on the floor. Luckily we haven't had a huge amount of rain, but that 1 millimetre we had really has just made life a bit tricky here because of the wheelings that we ran on at harvest time when we were combining. See there. So how it works, each bale that's been made inside pushes one that's been made out. So that one at the back was made, there you go, that's slipping out. Henry, your turn.
It's not.
Your phone's ringing.
Yeah, you missed your space in the queue.
How many balers have you got?
5 of my own,
Yeah.
with 2 subcontractors
Coming in.
us. Yeah.
And length coming, I know you go down to Cambridge, how far north and south?
We go up as far as Grimsby. We don't go too far west, we'll be just round north of Lincoln, somewhere there.
Yeah, and based near in Nottinghamshire.
No, Stickney.
Oh, Stickney.
So we were in Nottinghamshire.
That and you've
Yeah, and George is still across there, and I'm.
You're up here.
Yeah.
So, and of those balers, how many new this year?
No, none this
None.
year. They're all the same. Well, we've had to have a different one because one got fired last year.
Oh.
We ended up with another second-hand one, but no.
And do you intend to stick with the same make?
Yes.
Always have the same ones?
Yeah, we're on at the minute. We're a Massey, so yeah, the Heston.
So, okay.
The original. Yeah.
Oh, that's the Hestons, are they?
Yeah, the heritage behind the Massey baler is the Heston baler.
I didn't realise that.
So, yeah.
Right, and then amount of straw this year, and where does yours go to? Power stations as well?
Majority, yeah.
Yeah.
We do some supply for the carrot trade.
Yeah.
So for overwintering carrots, and that's another part of my business that we do later in the year.
Yeah.
But we try to use a waste, so if we have wet bales, top bales, anything that we can't use for a power station,
Yeah.
they can be used for the carrot side of things.
Right.
And yeah, predominantly for us, it's the Sleaford power station up the road here.
Right, yeah. And then obviously for us, you're doing this sort of contracting, and then we're selling it up to livestock bedding and things. But anyway, we'll let you crack on. Your phone's non-stop, as we know.
Yeah,
So
we'll catch you later.
Thanks,
Andrew,
Henry.
thank you.
So it's Thursday evening, and Ruben's spraying the sugar beet with a fungicide for some diseases, Cercospora, rust, probably a bit of mildew as well. And the baling gang are here. I've just been to get them fish and chips. So that's one baler finishing off, and then there's the chaser just in the distance somewhere there, taking it to that concrete there. It's 8:30 Thursday night. Nearly got the baling finished. Been a bit of a struggle because the baling knotters caused a few problems, and also the rain earlier on. Apologies for the quality, it's because it's getting dark, it's not focusing very well. So I'm just heading back to the yard. Baler's going to another field just to finish another field off. And Ruben is there spraying the last of the sugar beet. You see the blue boom lights on that show the nozzles from the cab. You can see whether they're blocked or not. Yeah, apologies for the quality of the video here while it's getting dusk. I don't know what's wrong with the camera, it's not really focusing very well. It's Friday morning and we've had a lot of wind overnight. A lot of people have had some wind and there's a few shed roofs blown off. I hope everybody's safe, not had too much damage. It's a real nightmare when you get a lot of wind and sheds damaged because of wind, especially if they've got crops in to store. You can see here from these trees here how much they're blowing, and this one behind me. Where are we? There towards the house. Anyway, today I'm just keeping out the wind a bit here behind this shed. Today we're just starting to do some land work. As you've seen early on in this clip, we got the baling all up to date, which is good. Still got those 3 fields of combine, which is 1 of wheat up on the heath with the trial plots in, and also 2 fields of spring barley down here. So we've got those to do. But we're just starting to get ready now to do some more cultivation work. We're going to put some cover crops in as well up on the heath on the light land that was harvested about 2 weeks ago. So we're going to get that done as well now. So Tom went out and did some moulling last night. So when I was filming the baling, he was doing a bit of moulling on 1 or 2 of the contract fields. We put a new foot on it yesterday, a week day or 2 ago. You can see that's new. It's rusty now because of the rain last night. I've had 3 millimetres of rain last night. But the chopper blades that he put on the bottom, they're holding up really well. These are the combine chopper blades and they're really hard and they're wearing really well there. There we are, doing a good job. New expander put on here a bit ago. So that's to make the drain channel through the ground really much better. Just looking at this mould drainer, if anybody's interested in it, any new viewers, let me just get out the wind, who haven't seen the update, it's update 277, and that is the one where we explain all about moulding, how we do it and why we do it, and that's all about this machine here in the back. So if you're interested what difference it makes, it's to help drainage of the soil and help recover some of the problems we've had from this last winter. So have a look, it's update 277. Tom's just going to drop the mould drainer off and put the elytra on for establishing the cover crops. So we're going to be putting them on the light land and that will put them in rows about 45 centimetres apart, which will be fine. So Ruben's just helping Tom take that off. It's only a drawbar pin and 2 pipes. That's all it is. It is really quick to take off. Tom's backing up to here and Ruben's going to just lift it with the Manitou because we haven't got a jack. We haven't got a jack on this yet. We will put one on this winter. So Ruben's just lifting it up, just makes it easier. This way, Ruben. That's it. So we're going to draw it in the shed out the wind. So backing up to this culti press because we're going to put that on the back, and then it will roll it at the same time as it's putting the cover crops on. So we're going to put that on the drawbar on the back there. They can't see from the cab, Tom can't, where to back, so Ruben's just on the phone to him with his ear pods. We've got to put the hydraulic pipes in to lift the drawbar of this up. So we've got the pipes in, there we are. Tom's doing that from the cab. Just get round the corner out the wind a bit. It's just lifted the legs off the floor. So because the hydraulics are coupled through the front, from the front you can lift all this up and alter it from the cab, which is great. So it's interesting, backing with all these different hitch points on. But Tom's got that after a fine art. Just going to back it in the workshop and couple all the pipes up and calibrate it, put the seed on in here with it being so windy. I've got Mike and Jason from Spalding's here, and we're just looking at the various legs and wings and points that we've got on the flatliner, subsoiler and the solo, and looking to just change something and get them all standardised. The trouble is we've got various bits on the shelf from a few years ago that we need to just rectify really, and just make sure we've got the same ones. But we just want to make sure that the subsoil is a bit more lower draft, if you like, and less soil surface disturbance. These are the ones that we've already got. So we have got various legs and points and things. So we're not short of some options. Across here, we've got different options that we're looking at.
Some legs look really obscure. Some legs will be like Opico Heater have a really swept forward leg. When you
These are the different wings we've got.
It looks a bit unusual because it sits at a different angle. Just seeing how the two compare.
When you've got a new one like that with tungsten on the front for harder wearing, it transfers the wear point to somewhere else because the soil movement has transferred the wear point to a hole there, so it's wearing just there.
There's much wear on the front.
When you get them close together, that is the difference.
Yeah. Someone described them like
That's brand new. That's exactly the same but worn.
Water when it's there. It's like aerodynamics. Everything moved.
Is what it was like as well when it was new, and how much is worn off. And then that is a new one, and you can see, not quite, but you can see it's worn all this front away. That's got tungsten on, which that one didn't have. So, right, Jason, this point here, you wanted to try some of these. What have we got here?
So this is our waving Sabertine point, where we've...
So this is the drill for viewers, this is the drill we're going to be getting in the next week or two.
Yeah. So we've from feedback from customers and what people have said that could do with improving, we've had a little extra tungsten to the leading edge and some hard facing above it.
So it goes obviously that it goes that way through the ground. If you just hold it up, that's how. Right. Okay. Yeah. And then the tube at the back is for the seed to go down.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've kept all the internal dimensions, and we've just added tungsten and hard facing to the main edges where we see wear. And also made the entire thing out of a much harder steel.
And obviously there's a gap at the back for the seed to come out, and then you can alter the depth of this as well.
That's right, yeah. So we've made the tube compatible with the new type that uses a pin on the old type that had pinch bolts on. So you can use our tube on any of the weaving Sabertines.
Yeah.
Gives you a little bit more versatility on depth.
And you were saying as well a minute ago, the cost of steel, that tungsten, what figure did you say against normal steel?
Tungsten is about 25 times the price of standard steel, of wearing part steel.
That's incredible when you think of that. So tungsten is all these bits, sort of tiles as we call it, they've got on the front leading edge. You can see the leading edge of that. But as I said a minute ago, when you put tungsten on, it protects the part that the tungsten's on, but it transfers the wear to another part of the point, and that's been highlighted just there. Great, thank you. So just to explain these different wings, different sizes, they create different amounts of subsurface disturbance underneath the ground, because obviously that leg will be going through the ground like that. So you put a different wing on there, you can see that creates some disturbance. That's smaller, so that will create less, and then that is smaller still. But this is all related to depth that you're working as well. So Tom's done a few rounds, but we're not quite getting the right seed on, or the amount of seed. This is the roller that's in the bottom of the hopper, and then the outlets are where the seed's meant to go in, but because the seed we've got oats, there's not quite big enough openings. This is for oilseed rape and small seed. The reason why there's no openings there is because there's 16 outlets on that hopper for 16 rows, and we've got 11 rows here, so we have to have some blanked off. But because we haven't got the right plastic blanking plates, and to take this apart is a bit of a job. I'll just put some tape round to try and mimic it, but whether it will work or not is another matter.
If it doesn't, it won't be on YouTube.
Oh, it might be. So we're just going to see whether that works or not. And you can see when you look at the seed, if I can do it one-handed, that's the seed. They're the oats, the bigger long ones. We've got some phacelia in it from the cover crops I put down on the other land before harvest, and linseed, buckwheat in there, and some radish. But you can see the oats have a job to go in the slot. So that's where the roller slides in.
Those are just for the other one. I think so. They'll just fit over the end like that.
So that's where we're blanked off. Those ones, that's plugged the hole. You can see the opening there. That's all down to the ground. All these. That's blanked off because we've got more openings. This seed is capable of doing more openings and rows than we've got.
The spillages.
That's now ready just to calibrate and see if it works. So we've just put some seed in the hopper. Just going to calibrate it. Now there's odd bits of seed coming out those where it's blanked off, but not enough, not much to worry about. So then this is what's with the fan is going to be blown down the pipes to the rows. It's got it calibrated, so just putting the plate on at the back, ready to have a go to see if it's made any difference.
You can now supposedly drill at 118 kilometres an hour.
Yes, that's what the box says. Right, that's got it calibrated and rollers changed. We're going to give it a go now, see if it works. Aren't we, Frankie and Nala? So there are the lakes, there's 11 of them. They're working about 8 inches deep at the minute. You can see they're creating some surface tilt. And then the seed, you can see the seed coming out there. And it's dropping it in line with where the soil's been moved by the lakes. Dropping it among the loose soil, then the rubber roller's just firming it and levelling it. That roller there. We've not put any fertiliser on this time, that's what that second bar is for. So the seed's coming from the hopper you've just seen us calibrate. Then the metal DD is just consolidating it. And then the press. See the tines, we've moved them, but we're just going to put another shim in that drawbar, just in there, just to tilt the press back a little bit, just to lift it out, lift the tines out, so the tines as shallow as they'll go. We can take them out, but just extra time. Double rings, just nicely rolling it, consolidating it, covering the seed. That's it, job done. So Tom's putting some more seed in, aren't you, Tom? Yeah. There. Yeah. So Tom's going all right now, which is good. But the problem we've had is because the rollers that were in the seeder had only got very small sort of holes or capture areas where the seed's captured. It was only actually capturing the very small seed, so the radish and the phacelia and the other bits we'd put in it. The oats, it was only grabbing a few of those, but only in a very short supply, so in a small amount. So what we've done is changing the roller to the bigger ones. It's actually meant now that it's metering it out a lot better, a lot more evenly. So we've had a bit of a hold up for maybe an hour and a half sorting it, but we've managed to get it going. Anyway, that's good news, because we've got one more field to do of cover crops up here on the heath when we get the field combined. This is the last field of wheat we have to combine. It wasn't drilled or planted, rather. Just explaining that. Farmers say drilled. When we say we're drilling a crop, we mean actually planting a crop. That's the terminology we use. So this crop wasn't planted till middle of January after sugar beet. So that's why it's hanging on a bit. And you can see some of the ears, then they're stood up a little bit, some of them still, when you look here. And normally when the ears are bent right over, that's when you can tell a crop's fit. This is coming on actually. I think we'll be into here by the middle of next week, but I'll just grab a few of these ears and take them down to the farm, down to the glebe farm, main farm, and get them tested for moisture, because I haven't done this yet, but I think we'll be into this in after the bank holiday weekend. It's got I don't know what's there, 10 or so ears. We'll get the chaff out of those and then put them in the moisture meter, the small one we have at the other farm. I didn't bring it with me, and then we'll see what it comes out at. It's Saturday lunchtime, and just walking the dogs and just heading down to the beet pad where the baling was done and where the bales are stacked up from a couple of days ago, and we have an interesting sight. Sugar beets looking well, but the stack of bales, not so. It's that high wind we had yesterday morning. It's knocked these bales over, but the stack's just leaning a little bit from sort of the top of that is leaning over a bit. That's, I think, what's happened. We need to just come along and move some of these and drop those other ones, lower them down a little bit and just move them out at the bottom. I think that's what we'll do. One of those things though, not many down. It won't take many minutes to move these. We have got, I think there's 452 bales here. That's what there is. The bales are weighing around 470 kilos each. They're what we call 4x3s, and they're off 95 odd acres, something like that. But some of those acres are patchy, as you've seen here. This is the beet pad you saw us the other day. Ruben, Tom and myself were lifting these up, putting this bit of metal underneath, just so the water can run off when it rains. Done a good job there, like that. We're all right here. So there was 100 acres worth of barley straw here and about 50 acres of wheat. That's the field of wheat that it came off. But looking at this, we are all okay. Looks good. Quite a lot of bales up here. Other farmers have got bales dotted around. A large stack over there, and there's also some smaller stacks in the fields there.